Taro Sakamoto, an ordinary chubby man living a peaceful life with his family, was once the ultimate assassin feared by villains and admired by hitmen. In his prime, countless tried to take him down. Many hitmen tried different tactics to take him down, but none succeeded. Then, one day, the legendary hitman vanished, choosing retirement, a quiet life, and got fat. Shin found the legendary hitman, Sakamoto, calmly dealing with a man covered in ink by a young customer. In Sakamoto's mind, he had already taken out the man, but thanks to his ability, Shin could see it was just in his imagination. However, he also saw that Sakamoto planned to finish him next. Shin urged Sakamoto to rejoin the organization, but he declines. He is about to light a cigarette when was swiftly stopped by Sakamoto in hitman speed and pointed to a no smoking sign. Suddenly, a man asked Sakamoto for a favor, which Shin mistook for a hit, only to realize it was just regular chores. Soon, other villagers also sought his help, feeding vegetables, splitting balls, and more. Shin, tricked by a kid, returned to his car and found himself deep in thought, fascinated by Sakamoto, his hitman idol. Overwhelmed with excitement, the car began shaking enough to cause some unwanted misunderstandings. Then, he got a call from his boss. If Sakamoto refused to rejoin, he had to eliminate him. That night, memories of Sakamoto consumed his thoughts. If Sakamoto was destined to be eliminated, he'd rather it be by his hands than anyone else's. In the morning, he headed straight to Sakamoto's shop. Ignoring his wife's greeting, he steeled himself today. He would end Sakamoto. From a simple greeting, he fired a silent shot at Sakamoto. But with nothing more than a flick of a candy, Sakamoto casually altered the bullet's trajectory. With that, he vanished from Shin's sight in an instant. Sakamoto effortlessly countered with a gumball and even a simple snack pack, deflecting Shin's attacks like child's play. Before he could react, Sakamoto delivered a swift kick, sending him flying. As he woke up, Shin found himself bandaged and resting in Sakamoto's home. To his surprise, Sakamoto's wife and daughter had taken care of him, even preparing dinner. Suspicious, he thought the food might be poisoned. But instead of vengeance, he was met with warmth. The food was comforting. The house felt like home. At that moment, he realized why Sakamoto left the organization to protect this happiness, his family. Upon returning to their base, Shin pleaded for Sakamoto to be left alone. His request was met with laughter from the other hitmen. Desperate, Shin even offered his own life in exchange. The boss pretended to agree, but as Shin was able to read mind, he pointed his gun on him. The other hitmen started to come to him. Sakamoto, lost in thought, finally keyed in a sequence on the cash register. With a soft click, hidden compartments in the wall slid open, revealing an arsenal of weapons. His peaceful life was being threatened again, and he knew he couldn't ignore it any longer. Meanwhile, Shin was locked in a brutal battle against his former comrades. Gunfire echoed through the air as he weaved between attacks, taking down opponents with swift counter-strikes. But despite his skills, he was still outnumbered. An attack came dangerously close to his throat, almost too close. Down to his last mag, Shin fought desperately, but a bullet to the leg left him cornered. Just as all seemed lost, Sakamoto stormed in, zapping the enemies with his electric gun, turning the tide in an instant. At the mention of his name, the armed men lunged at Sakamoto, only to be effortlessly countered with a mere chopstick. Even their guns were useless against his overwhelming skill. Desperate, they attacked simultaneously, but it was futile. Watching from the sidelines, Shin was in awe. This was the legendary Taro Sakamoto in action. Shin asked how Sakamoto found him, only to learn there was a tracker in his gun. Before he could say his goodbyes, an apron landed on his face, Sakamoto's way of offering him a job at his store. With that, a new chapter of Shin's life begins. He was restocking the supply in the store, and still amazed of Sakamoto's skills. Suddenly, he slipped that Sakamoto finished off the goons. This caught the attention of his wife, Aoi Sakamoto, who warned him of a filling divorce if he is to break the family rule. Sakamoto frantically explained that he hadn't broken the rule. Meanwhile, in his mind, he had already finished Shin 100 times over for slipping up. The two went to Niyakita Chinatown as Shin pressed Sakamoto about the family rule. Their conversation was cut short when a woman suddenly dropped from a building, resulting to the pork buns being ruined. The lady named Lu Xiaotang, who was being chased. The woman skillfully fought off the goons using Tai Chi, but one managed to grab her from behind. Just as another thug was about to slash her with a knife, Sakamoto casually cut the blade in half with a pair of tongs before knocking the guy out with a punch. Meanwhile, Shin took down the other attacker with a swift strike. As another group of men arrived, Sakamoto and the others made a run for it. His mind was occupied with a far more urgent matter, his precious pork buns. At the thugs' hideout, their leader reprimands his subordinates for failing to capture Lu. In a sudden turn, two mysterious figures eliminate the chastised men. The leader then assigns these newcomers the task of pursuing Lu and retrieving the keys she possesses. Sakamoto and the others sprinted across the rooftops. As Lu revealed the reason behind the chase, she possessed the key to her clan's hidden vault, the very secret her parents died protecting. Lu was ready to say her goodbyes, but Sakamoto had a better idea. He'd save her from her pursuers, but only if she paid him back with homemade pork buns. In the middle of their conversation, Bacho, one of the two amateur assassins, suddenly sent Sakamoto flying with a powerful strike. Lu recognized them as the twin hitmen, Sun He and Bacho, known for sketching their victims' heads. As Shin lunged at Sun He, Bacho targeted Lu, only to find himself kissing the floor in the blink of an eye. Sakamoto made a grand return with a powerful punch, sending all of them in the floor below. Lu seethed as Sun He casually recounted how he took down her parents, but before she could react, Sakamoto stopped her. Sun He then hurled a dagger at Lu, only for Sakamoto to snatch it midair. Lu couldn't understand why Sakamoto was so determined to save her. Shin, having seen the flashback through Sakamoto's mind, was on the verge of tears. Back when he was courting his now wife, Aoi, she rejected his gift, unimpressed by the fact that he was literally handing it over with blood-stained hands. Frustrated, Aoi leaped off the rooftop, but Sakamoto was faster, catching her in order to protect her. Aoi explained that Sakamoto's desire to save her was something anyone in love could understand. She told him that taking a life was never the answer and made him promise to stop killing, choosing instead to save lives from that day forward. The twin hitmen launched a relentless assault on Sakamoto and Shin, wielding their weapons and hurling daggers. When their attacks proved ineffective, they synchronized their strikes for a stronger offensive. However, Sakamoto effortlessly dodged them all, emerging with muscle strain. As the twins prepared to strike again, Sakamoto swiftly knocked Bacho out and shattered Sun He's weapon into pieces. Desperate, Sun He turned his sights on Lu, but before he could act, Shin yanked him back. Sakamoto then finished the job by slamming a refrigerator onto Sun He's head, sending crabs scattering everywhere. The two dragged Bacho and Sun He to their boss's hideout as a special delivery. Seizing the moment, Lu took her revenge, beating the boss so thoroughly that his entire face and body turned a lovely shade of blue. Lu and the others struggled to open the vault, taking what felt like forever. But when it finally creaked open, their eyes widened. Shin discovered that every head of the clan had left their most valuable possession inside. Meanwhile, Sakamoto was already busy trying out the loot. There, Lu discovered her parents' most treasured possession, a bottle of liquor with a note instructing her to drink it on her coming of age. With their pork buns already smashed beyond saving, the three decided to enjoy the drink instead, sharing a quiet moment of celebration.
If you've enjoyed this so far, Drop down below and show us some love by liking, subscribe and sharing. Next chapter will come out soon enough if not already. But for the meantime, check out our other videos on the screen. I highly recommend The Daily Life of the Immortal King. The link is in the comments section below. Thank you for watching until the end. Subscribe for more videos like this.